I missed that a bit.
So that is canvas also?
Yeah, it's a linoleum. It's a canvas that's treated with an oil or paint, an oil-based paint, to make it waterproof. This was what they used to floor, middle and lower class houses with, linoleum.
So it's on the trunk for the purpose of...
It's decorative and it's also functional because it's waterproofing the trunk. Am I live right now?
More, yeah. So it makes it more resistant.
Yes, water. It makes it more weather resistant. It's the same reason they put it on people's floors.
Yeah.
Is that below me right now? How's the angle? Oh, yeah, that's not bad.
Not at all. I really like the look of the canvas around the shaft. I'm not gonna lie. It really
Should I leave it there? What do you
like
think?
these little edges like this.
Oh, that I might not mess with a whole
I
lot.
like it a lot.
I don't know that
Adds
there's a great
texture to it.
solution other than to
No,
pull the
it's
members
supposed
of
to
it
be
up.
there, you know. But getting this off to show the wood underneath it.
Yeah, it's
because it did its job. It protected it.
yeah, it did for the most part. It couldn't protect it from that fire, but
No.
wow, this is on tighter. Much
So it was
tighter.
like the box was built and then like covered.
Yeah, it would have been upholstered. Yeah, upholstered, and then a cabinet maker. The cabinet maker oversaw the whole process. They probably sent it to another shop to be upholstered, most likely. And then after this is not as easy coming off. And then after it was upholstered, they did the final. Yeah, this is the top. Go ahead. I don't know why that bit is not. Yeah, they could have done it there in the shop, but most likely it was upholstered by somebody else that was their trade. It seems almost made by like a Cooper. You know what a Cooper is?
No.
A barrel maker. Right? A Cooper
I
is.
had one of those, but I didn't go into the store at in the Seaport Restoration Village.
Yeah.
It's very loud.
Yeah, they're called Coopers. And they were specialists at swelling wood using copper and steel bands. They were specifically craftsmen, woodworkers who dealt with barrel making. I feel like maybe they had a hand in this, or they had part of this was their business, but it was made by a cabinet maker.
Interesting. Now, where else did you see linoleum on wood like that?
On people's floors.
Well, yeah, but like I've never seen on anything else. It's interesting that would be a coating.
Yeah, it's just that what it was on, the homes that it would have been on the floors of are long gone, and they refloored and they pulled it up because there was hardwood under it,
Yeah.
They're not going to leave it down. People covered hardwood floors back in the day. Just like they covered this with thing, and I'm taking it off to show the wood.
Yeah.
It's the same concept as removing the carpet over your hardwood floor if you have an old house.
Protect it for all those years,
It did.
So now we get to see the
Right. Now I don't want to see ugly, old, funky canvas, I'd rather see the character of what's under it.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that was canvas
Yeah.
or a material period.
I didn't know kind of until I was messing with it. It's really it's biting under these beams much stronger on the top. Nah, it's pop. This is poplar. Look at the mildew there too.
But these parts, are this different?
Yeah, this is like a hardwood like chestnut. I brought it out the other day to show. It could be elm. It's not oak. I had a little piece of chestnut I was showing to compare it to. probably over there in my wood pile. Oh, here. Here's a piece of wormy chestnut. I think it's probably from Pennsylvania. Probably 17th to 1800s.
So this is closer to
I
this?
think this is a chestnut. This is an oak. This looks like an oak or an elm. This is a different wood. This is a different wood than
Yeah,
that.
this is a tighter.
It's also a different cut. Like there's a difference between how you cut the tree, right? They call it half sawn and quarter sawn. And if you look at that, looks like this is quarter sawn. So this is similar to that, right? Whereas this is similar to that, right?
Gotcha. Interesting. Which angle it displays.
Yes, how you cut your wood does affect the behavior of the wood. Wood moves. It's like a living thing. How's our viewership? What? Kind of low. Hey, subscribe to the channel. This is Miss Heather.
Hey guys. So that's like a knot. That's like a knot.
Yep.
That's like sawn through.
Yep, that's a sawn. That's just like, poplar has very few knots, but it's a very porous wood. That's why it's kind of hard to stain because it takes so much of your stain up. The grain sucks the stain up. Yep.
So it doesn't hurt that we want to keep it.
It's not a great wood to stain, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to oil it for protection, but I would never cut poplar and intend to stain it like with tung oil because it doesn't take a good stain.
No.
As the old woodworkers would say, it doesn't take a good stain. But we're going to do it anyway.
So maybe that's also why they used it and covered it.
Cheap.
It's cheap to use and they don't have to stain it. They're just going to wrap it anyway.
Right. And this was
And
actually
then it's a protective layer and now it's extra waterproof.
this is a medium to high end trunk right here too. So that tells you on the lower end ones, they were really cutting corners probably, Well, maybe not high end, but this was not cheap luggage. That's why I think it was a naval officer's luggage.
No, honestly, the price I got it for is phenomenal as well.
Yeah.
I think they were $6 or $7 a month.
Wow.
They would take a lot, which I didn't want to take.
You didn't want to take it all.
Sold it as a lot, so it was like
Trying to get rid of it
$50
all.
for like 7 trunks or something like that.
Yeah, that's
I just could not. I was like, okay,
So,
I
it's
have
a
all
lot.
the trunks, I guess.
If you're I would like to turn these into a couch, at least a couple of the other ones.
Yeah.
I'd like to saw right through the metal. I don't see why not, honestly.
Use it as like half and half an arm.
We'll take some of the weight out of it by cutting some of that metal off. And then once we cut some of that wood out and I can put in some pine as support, then we'll be able and put rollers on there. They won't be a pain in the butt like chests are. They're a pain in the butt to move around.
Yeah, I know. Let you take out that part away from them, all firm
Yeah,
casters.
right. Now poplar will look like this with these mildew stains, these kind of moldish stains that you see on here. Poplar will do that really early after it's cut down. So it's not like super shocking to see that to me. Just a little moisture will do that with poplar. It's not a good rot resistant wood.
Is it going to sand off?
It may. Let's see what it did on the side and on the front. Because we had some of that on the front, didn't we?
That's right. You did have that.
We can give it a shot and see whether it sands off today. I also have a grinder, so if we need to get into it more to get that out. That was leather. If I were to open it, you would see that it was brown originally.
Interesting.
It blackened as it dry rotted. I'm trying to preserve the areas where the leather straps are, if not the leather itself,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Reveal that like very, very nice wood underneath.
Yeah, it's cool. I've got my time lapse going too, and I've got these all time lapsed.
Yeah.
So you can watch it very condensed, me doing all of this stuff. All the removal of the initial cleanup, which I had to do to get rid of the funk off of it. There were rats living in it at some point. They made a midden in there, which is where they eat stuff and tear it all up and turn it into a big soft pile. Gross. Yeah, they made a midden in there. So that was like one of the first things I had to do was get rid of all that mess in there.
You know that archaeologists love rat nests?
Yeah, because they can tell you, they can date them.
Perfectly.
Pack rat middens are how they know about the Indians out west.
Their urine coats it and preserves shit perfectly.
Yeah.
So if they print the rats got holes or some good stuff because it'll just live preserved in the wall for centuries.
Yeah.
It's interesting how a nuisance like that is a weird, important preservation thing in our world.
Well, and the same thing with, the bog bodies, I think, kind of, the bogs are kind of like a gross place. They're basically swamps in the cold, and
Yeah.
the only thing they could gather from those things were peat. But the point is that, though the bogs, don't provide anything but that peat, and you can't grow anything on them, they did preserve those bodies to teach us a lot, about the people.
But also a lot of them were placed there on sacrifice, and so in a weird way with the intention of them being there.
Yeah, actually,
So, they didn't understand that it would then help us.
maybe they
in
did.
such
Who
an
knows?
Archaeology way, but it was a big.
We don't
it
know
was
what
an
they
honor.
knew back then. They could have
They knew a
been
lot.
way more advanced than we. They definitely had the same minds and the same creativity we have now. There was no difference in our. People think that back in the day they were dumber or something.
No, they had a lot more to deal with every day.
That's not coming off clean there. They did a better job tucking it on the top
Yeah.
than they did on
Well, I
the
guess
front and
that makes sense, 'cause
sides.
that's what they're going to see most
Yep.
often. The front needs to look pretty. The top needs to also take more wear and tear.
I imagine it
That's why all these
does.
rivets there, I think, are to bump up what's going to smack on the metal before the wood, and the wood before the leather.
Yeah, because they would. I was saying in my last video, they would have stacked potentially. There's a sharp piece of metal right there, sticking through like a little nail. They would have stacked potentially tens, if not hundreds, of trunks on top of each other.
Yeah.
They had to be. We should be able to stack all these on top of one another, and if they're stable, stand on the top and jump up and down.
Yeah.
All of that.
They're meant to hold weight like that.
So that's why I started making those humpback trunks.
Yeah.
Because people wanted their trunk to not have stuff on top of it. So people had their trunks made with curved tops so they couldn't stack them under. This is a really dirty job.
It is. It's so crumbly.
Very dirty job. Somebody in the last time I was doing a live, they were like, "You're really good at that work." I was like, just like tearing stuff.
They're all such fun sizes too.
Yeah. They make it so you could take one and turn it into a chair. If you really, I want to get a metal cutting blade and just saw pieces out of these things and just
Yeah.
redesign them into new,
Yeah.
upcycle them into new furniture. But the first thing to do is clean them up. And once you clean them up, then you can do that all.
And you can see which areas you want to display and which areas you'd like
Right.
to hide, and then you have more of a reason to cut and more of a design to go with on purpose.
Yeah. Like when the whole upcycling thing kind of happened in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I'm like kind of upset that it's not, you don't see a lot of it anymore. We're back to like blacks and
Yeah.
whites and value colors instead of using character, in the decoration. Well, it seems like it'll come back
It's
again.
always gonna, yeah, it's always gonna change.
This may be better if I had it at a different angle, but I still got to get that
Flip it around?
piece.
So that way this is back on top.
Yeah.
A little towards you.
Yeah. I have to buckle that.
Bring it back up again.
Yeah, that's much better. Oh, it's just sitting on the handle is all it is. I probably could put something under it on one side.
They're just some nice hinges. I didn't realize it wrapped all
So
the way
they're
around.
copper, right? Some of them are steel. Some of these little ones are copper. These ones, I don't know. They're on the sides. You find them. They're not brass. They're not steel. I think they're copper. Where did my other knife go?
This is the back side of it.
Yeah. So what my idea was, since you're here, I can tell you what my idea is. My idea is to take these hinges, right? And if you're watching this, remove them. Move them here, all three of them, for strength. Cut these sides out, right? Hinge that middle piece, so only the middle swings back to a backrest. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then that's upholstered, and the seat is upholstered, and we have space under the seat for storage, right?
Yeah.
It would just be an
As
evolved.
long as the seat you can pop out and then put a bunch of blankets in it.
The trick would be
And I want to line the inside also. So
getting
that
these
doesn't-
brass rivets out, getting the hinges moved. If not, you have to put new hinges on it, right? And then sawing carefully through each section of the trunk,
Even, yeah.
right? And that would have to be
And then it
done
has
with
to
a
have
handsaw,
clearance,
most likely.
Then we need to, sand all the edges and make sure it looks nice.
Yeah. Yep. Everything would. I sand the crap out of everything and oil it and stuff. So
Yeah, it needs to,
just a little bit like this.
It would be cool if we could do something instead of just keeping the end pieces down. If they like flipped up for other storage, like small
Yeah, I
storage
mean-
or something, so they would normally stay down, but it's just
We can maybe have the audience. If we
Instead-
gather enough audience, we can have the audience kind of help us decide what we want to do with it. But the first thing to do, obviously, like we said, is to clean it up.
flip it back at camera.
So if you're just here, subscribe to the channel. I don't have my Cash App handle up, but I do have a GoFundMe on my link tree. If you are a person of means who would like to make a donation so that we can keep this channel going. Also, it's easy and it's free to subscribe to the channel, like the video. We're gonna be back, on a daily. I'm trying to do this stream every day of the week, or every day of the work week. Dog,
Or when
a ghost door. Now I hear her crying behind the door. Really squeaky. Do y'all hear that squeakiness? Almost like got a bird living in it or something. Oh my gosh, that squeak is killing me. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stop it. It's really squeaking. There we go. The chest. Squeaking on one of the, whatever it was sitting on. I kind of got it steady now.
Ew, more mildew.
Yeah, quite a bit. So, you know, this thing we'll see how it sands, but this is a scenario where you would decide that this part of the chest pretty much can go, you know, if it's not fixable, like the mildew.
Yeah, I can see that.
We would just find a way to work around or find a way to get rid of this section of the chest for whatever we repurpose this as, right?
Yeah. Well, it depends on, yeah, if it doesn't sand off, we can prioritize another side
Right, right.
and another design for whatever reason. But
Definitely
it's-
one of the downsides to this linoleum stuff is it trapped water under it.
Well, I get you.
And I think that may be why you have all this. But it was also, you know, exposed to years and years of weather. And
Yeah, it's never been stored since it
Yeah.
was used or done use. I think once it's sanded down a little bit, it might look nicer when it's spoiled. Like a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
of
yeah.
Show a little bit of age and give it more of a piratey look.
you have to sand it down for the wood to take the oil in anyways. Right now, the grain's not up. When you sand stuff down, it brings up the grain, almost like when you get in the shower and you get in warm water, it opens your pores.
Yeah.
It's the same with using a mineral spirit or some sort of solvent. You want to prepare the wood surface by bringing up the grain first. So that's either sanding it, hitting it with some. Sometimes if it's really tough, you use a steel wool or something. That's not a bad piece right there.
No, not at all.
That's kind of the best way to remove these so you get less threads is to pull on the piece and then cut the threads as they're kind of exposed. Yeah.
It's really awesome.
It's cool.
The contrast on it is so great, you know?
Yeah, it's a piece I would have always wanted one of these, you know. That's why I'd like to give one of these maybe to mom and dad as a gift with the Minnesota flag sewed into it as the upholstered piece,
that's
right?
cool. Or
Flips
lined
up.
with it,
Yeah. Especially if we find that upcycling, there's mosquitoes in here, upcycling the piece is not going to really reduce the cumbersome nature of it, so it's going to be difficult to move around. We've got all these other ones.
Yeah.
Might be that giving one away
Yeah,
as a
that
really
might be a
thoughtful
fun
gift,
too.
you know?
Yep.
It's going to be a bad one. I should probably be wearing a mask.
Hey, Dee's here.
Oh, he is? What's up, D? D's been wanting to live stream too. So that side's panels are clean now. The next thing would be to maybe test it out with the sander, just so you can see what we took off here. These are all like linoleum canvas panels. Oh, hey D, thanks for coming, man. I'm glad you're here. I miss you.
We're gonna see them soon.
Yeah.
Do you have a mask? Can you get me one?
I got some. I think I have one mask in here. Butt shot. My mic almost fell off. Maybe you want to hold the mic while I do this.
Do you want any kind of protection on your face? Guess not. Now I get to narrate. Har, har, har. That's fine. You're still very well lit. Tell Jamie we said hey. What's up, Jamie? If I download Fortnite, will you guys play with me too? Sweet. It looks really fun.
Is yes and no, right?
Yeah, it's interesting.
It comes off, but not all of it.
But it
spots. This is baby soft now. I was using a really fine grit paper. I could use a heavier paper. I could probably use a heavier paper and get a little bit more off of there. I want to see how it takes oil, but I probably should go after that mold a little more. Do I have any fabric on it still that I need to remove?
On the back panel.
I sure do, huh? Yeah.
And maybe the side butting handle, but I don't know if you've done those yet.
I have. Yeah, I've removed all the rotted leather too. So it's the back, the metal on the back too probably needs some work. Let me go over these runners real quick with the sander and see how they come out too.
Yeah.
I don't want to take all that patina off though, because it's got like nice aged patina on it. So this is a very fine. All right, this is a very fine sandpaper, so it shouldn't take all the patina off here. All right, let's put a little oil on that wood and see what it looks like. Towel down here I specifically used for this. So this is a combination of tung oil, citrus solvent, and a preservative, a wood stabilizer. Really the wood stabilizer that makes kind of the biggest difference.
So what does that do to the wood?
So it gets in there and the wood stabilizer preserves rotted wood, so it takes the cells and like hardens them.
Okay.
And the tung oil protects it from weather and bugs, right? And also gives it a good finish. And the citrus solvent helps it get into the grain. Okay? So does that answer the?
So it gets in to tighten and harden it?
Yep.
That way it's not like as soft from wear and tear?
Yes, it's the wood preservative is meant for rotted and somewhat rotted and distressed wood, right?
Uh-huh.
It's meant to harden it and keep it from continuing to rot. It's a stabilizer, right?
So it's not trying to do anything to the wood, but keep it as it is?
No, but I have found that when you mix it with an oil, it gets the oil deeper, right? This is my experience. It's an expensive
So you are,
thing.
like moisturizing and stabilizing the wood.
Exactly.
Bringing the color out.
Yep.
Stay moist.
Yep. Keeps the moist look. And then you just reapply it a couple days later. You sand it again and reapply it. See how that already, like, how much character that already brought out of it? And you didn't have to get rid of its original, like, it's got its figure, it's got its old look. It's just shining again, you know? That's the idea. And so this company, I've sold this stuff, like, if this company wanted to sponsor me, I would definitely plug them.
Yeah.
Because and it's unfortunate that I'm not getting paid to do that, but I would easily do that because I have recommended it to multiple people for projects, restoration projects. I don't know how to restore old Coke machines and stuff. What I'm good with is natural materials, you know.
You're a plant. You like wood. Trees.
So.
You deserve that.
See, so there's still mildew going on in there. I can come back with a more aggressive sandpaper and see if I can get it off, but it may be down in there a bit, you know?
But that's why I was going to say a little bit of the sanding brought it off so it's not predominant.
Yeah.
The oil kind of makes it blend in more.
Yeah.
It just looks like markings on it. And,
Right.
You know, trees do have black marks in them.
They do, especially these. Poplar really mildews easily. So it's a really useful wood, man. It's still used widely in construction. Like, it's one of the most widely used woods because it grows straight, it grows fast, and it's strong. It doesn't have a lot of branches. And the weight to strength ratio, which is one thing they measure wood by, is how strong it is by how heavy it is. Oak is very strong, but it's also extremely heavy. Then again, you know, wood like balsa is the opposite. It's very light, and actually tensile strength is not bad for how light it is, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why balsa.
Balsa trees around everywhere.
We do, all over the place. They're native to this area in Virginia.
Yeah.
They're actually one of the only native trees we're really harvesting wood from. They have another name. We call them tulip poplar, but they're not traditional poplars like what you would find in Europe. They're all over, man. That's one of the woods that they harvest on the trucks that you see down here. So if you see a truck and it's full of hardwood, not pine, it's poplar. Look for the brown, chocolate brown rings in it.
Yeah.
So like white, and then in the center it's got this chocolate brown figure. And you can kind of see it in some of the knots that are on here.
Yeah, honestly, you can really see the color on it. It doesn't, especially because the sanding didn't take some of it off. I think it looks really good.
Does have a nice look, man.
It's neat.
Very. See how squeaky it is? Squeaky.
She's got a lot to say. I bet she's happy with what we're doing.
Yeah, it's like a dog. It's like happy I'm bringing it food.
Yeah.
Welcome to the channel. If you're there, subscribe. Hit that like button for me. Trying to get up to 200 subscribers tonight. I just came up with that. Yeah. So let's get it up to 200. Be my 200 subscriber and win a pat on the back. This is what I get if I make a good video. A virtual pat on the back. A dopamine rush.
Yeah.
Right? That's all it's paying me right now.
You still hear he said that
Yeah. What did he say?
He said that
Ta-da.
He told us he was playing with Jamie and wanted to stand there. I said, what's up, Jamie?
Oh, he's playing like Fortnite? You know Fortnite? Yeah, we got to get this canvas out. And luckily there's no like writing or anything I really need to avoid back here. Even the leather straps, there's not much left of them. I can just pull everything up pretty much. It's going to be trickier though, because you can see it's pinned down and then nailed or stapled under the board. This is the part that looks sloppy to me. Do you see all the hammered in steel nails? Somebody made a real hasty job of trying to fix this thing up a long time ago. Probably when it was still in its prime. Just the brass on these chests is probably worth more than what you paid for them. Just the brass and scrap metal value.
Honestly, if I found someone who was into them or did restoration, I could easily sell them in a state they're in for more than I paid for them.
Oh yeah.
But it was finding that buyer.
Yep.
And also then, that's much harder, especially in a big multi like that.
Hey, welcome to the channel. Subscribe if you're into this kind of stuff. Subscribe. Doesn't cost you a dime. Also, if you're a patron of arts and restoration, drop me a donation in my GoFundMe. The link is in my bio. Am I right, Heather? Is it in my bio? Okay. Got 100 and some videos. What'd you say?
We have you a link tree yet? We'll give you a link tree.
Thought I had one of those. Maybe I don't. What's shaking, is it? I'm gonna put it back on its side again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Keep blowing up.
Yeah. So that towel over there has to come out from under it. I have it wedged under it. And we don't want that there. Yeah, that's better. I think the camera angle is probably slightly better too.
gotta get in the shower, tell him.
Oh, good night, D.
We'll see him Saturday.
See you on Saturday, bud. Keep thinking it's like towards the weekend. Got it.
We're over here. Your dad came in the garage. It looks really good. Now we can hang out here too.
Is he curious about where we are?
Party. Night, bud.
I figured I could connect with my kids this way too. This was
I
another.
was hoping that they'd be able to walk in the morning, you know?
Yeah. I have a. This is a grittier sandpaper I can attach to that. I forgot I had that in my pocket. I could only find one sheet of the 60. I must have some in the she shed or something. Of the coarse sandpaper. All I got in here is a bunch of 320, which is really expensive, but it's the fine stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should try to leave the areas with the rivets or not, but it's going to be tricky to pull them out, so I probably should just cut around them.
Yeah. That's kinda odd. A lot of that stuff, I feel like it's gonna flake off as you go.
Yeah.
You can do it 42 minutes already, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I was curious about timing.
I'm not sure what your aim was, but
At least an hour.
the time.
Yeah. I'll probably be able to get most of the canvas off this back side and kind of flip it around and then summarize what I've done. Mm. Also, if you feel like you need to zoom in on stuff while I'm doing it, I've done that before. Zoom in on what I'm removing.
So you can see this. So that's what's left of the leather.
leather,
and that's
exactly.
what the leather was on.
Yes, they put the leather over the canvas. Yeah.
So okay, you can see the leather canvas, seen beside it.
Now, if I was to open it up, you would see the leather in its original state, sort of.
More protected.
It was a reddish brown to start.
Yeah.
Similar in color to this, not far from that. But enough of a contrast that you would have seen it pop on there,
Yeah.
It's so rotted out, so sometimes it just,
Digging into it.
yeah. Hey. I'm gonna take this and run it across this edge right here. That worked well. Wait, real quick, right quick.
You roused the mosquito.
He's a Green Bay fan. Packers fan. People who are my subscribers see all the comments I leave, so like, why does he leave so many comments on football? Like,
Oh, that's funny.
also all of your comments are visible to your subscribers, so all of the negative negative comments I make in the context of football, like, are all visible to everybody. They're like, this guy, he watches all these sports things, and then he makes a chest restoration YouTube live. Well, I like YouTube, you know. There is no doubt that YouTube has made an indelible mark upon the world. And since I'm so privileged as to live in the West and be fed and watered and have my needs met so I can make videos, and honestly, I think that anyone in the U.S. who's privileged and stuff, they could do the same thing, and a lot of them do.
It's a good way to get out there, get information out there.
Yep. Honestly, I said the other day on my YouTube, I was like, this is education now. Kids don't really learn in school. What they learn is online, and what they want to learn when they want to learn it.
Yeah,
When they're in school, right? And when they're in school, they're force-fed stuff. They don't really pay attention. They just learn to the test. That's not real learning. Real learning is when you want to learn something, you know, or you know that that's the direction you need to take your life. That's your destiny. So you learn it
Or it's just
so you can fulfill your destiny, or because you're driven. Yeah, you're driven to learn it. Nothing in this world that's easy is like worth it. Like, everything that's worth it is all hard. So, I mean, I could make a 5-minute video restoring this chest, but let's be honest, it didn't take 5 minutes.
just like everything.
And honestly, the type of person I am, I'm looking at it like, am I rushing it? You know,
Yeah.
because I don't want to rush it. This is a tricky spot. The nails are not straight here. These are copper, I think. They're tarnishing like silver, which is crazy. Silver tarnishes white like that.
Because it has like salt.
Lead, maybe? So lead's going to tarnish like that too.
Yeah.
So it might be a pewter or like some sort of a lead
See that?
metal that has lead added into it, like a steel with a lead in it to make it softer. I don't know. I've never heard of such a thing, but it's steel rusts red, right? Iron oxide. This is rusting white, which is the way that silver. I just stuck myself. This is the way that's, yeah. I'm all right. I can see getting these strings off of all these different clasps as being pretty tricky. You know, get as much of the string material off as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, a little bit of a ragged look is what we're going
Yeah.
for. It's not supposed to be clean. We're showing showing the layers of what used to be there. And that helps show the age, but we're also making it look classy, because, you know, we can't clean up this mostly anyway.
Yeah.
Not like we're gonna throw leather on to make it shine, so the wood's got to speak for it.
Nope, it does. You're right. Big knot.
I'm excited for you to do this big long piece.
Oh yeah, I am too. Yeah,
Oh,
it's gonna be more
wow.
satisfying. Yeah, this was a pretty satisfying piece right there.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's on the back.
Oops.
Maybe tomorrow we'll have coffee, even like inside in real life.
Yeah.
For a minute.
Well, we could do it here too, because we got ourselves all lit. You know, like the whole space is well lit. So yeah, we could do that, especially if there's viewers. You know,
Yeah.
if there's anybody watching, we'll have coffee with you. These edges are tricky. Last time this was a harder spot to get up. Goodbye, ragged
Oh,
canvas.
probably one of the wheels squeaking before.
Yeah, probably.
Sorry,
Wish I had a towel to wipe my face off. All right, big piece. Probably getting close to an hour, right?
Website, yep.
Let me see, there's burn damage down here too.
Oh yeah, look at that. I didn't even realize it.
If you kind of hold your knife at a 45-degree angle, you'll avoid slicing off the edge of the wood. Knife, razor, utility knife, whatever you're using. And I'm sure there's people out there who are actually doing this, a couple of them. So got him. No mosquitoes were harmed in the making of this live stream. That's a lie. Mosquitoes were harmed. Very satisfying.
Split?
Yeah, that's just a check though. Those, and it's a bad one. So if this was structural, that would be a bad check because it runs all the way the length.
Interesting.
But that's from the wood getting wet and then drying again, you know, or not being dried properly before it was used in the making of the trunk. Yeah, it's called a check. They also have another, it's sun something, sun. There's another name for it in woodwork. When it cracks like that, grain-wise, it's not a good thing. But it is actually completely natural in white pine, yellow pine, and other woods. So if you ever go stay in a real log cabin, you'll notice that even the main structural beams of the pine log cabin will have checks that run the entire length of them.
Oh, they had that at LaGuardia.
Yeah.
They had these big, really cool, big structural things with cracks all on them, and I was like, I definitely took pictures of them and forgot to show you because I was like, this is terrifying.
Yeah, no, they're fine. Yeah, they're fine. Yep, they're still very, very strong. And the last piece of canvas on this thing, I think, before we end for today.
Is there canvas on it? Like it's burned in there?
Yeah, it's down here, and this is the tricky stuff because it's pinned under too. It's burnt off somewhat here, and then it's pinned under.
Wow, it already looks so much better. Wow. See, I definitely didn't realize that there was any kind of material on it.
I didn't either. I didn't know they did these like this. I would take a yardstick to this, but they don't have it straight either. The rivets aren't straight, so it doesn't really matter. That was not done by the maker. That was by somebody else. The maker wouldn't have hammered in iron or steel nails into it. Now at the bottom, this stuff is tricky to get off, man.
It looks so good. It looks so much better. I can't get over it.
Yeah, it's coming out. See how it's an inch of it is tucked under there? It's about an inch of fabric that's tucked under. It's almost like burlap quality fabric, right? So not, it's like a low quality fabric with a, look, with you know, linoleum with linseed oil or an oil-based paint applied to it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all the canvas on there. You know, minus the little bits that need to be pulled on. If I had my shop vac, I would, you know, use that to clean my space up a little bit. But what I can do before we go, we're at about an hour, is I can go over this quickly with the sand and see how the back looks. All right.
Good. We're at 59 minutes.
Oh crap! Sorry, butt shot. Yeah, that's a really fine grained, fine grained sandpaper. I might tomorrow go over everything with a more gritty sandpaper. I'm going to use this more fine polishing cloth here to do this with. Got a mosquito after me. Let's see. Might have more on here. A little bit small.
So now all the cables have been removed and every side has gotten a coat of that stuff, right?
The front, top, and the back have gotten a coat. The sides have not been coated or treated at all.
Start there next time.
Yep. I have linseed oil too, just in case I need more. Oh, that was a lot. That was a lot more than I bargained for, but I'm going to spread it around. Yep. Don't want to waste any of this stuff. It's about like 50 cents to $1 an ounce. It's very expensive. On a project like this, you can imagine using a lot of ounces of it. It's actually bringing the threads out. How's that looking? Threads, and we just pull threads as we need to until we get it cleaned up looking. I love the smell of tung oil too. It keeps that smell forever. It's one of my favorite smells, man. It's like a comfort smell to me. All the furniture I've ever built, I've always used it on.
Oh, good, you caught us. We're gonna finish up soon. Yeah, we're gonna go to bed too.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. Hey, Dee.
The rule of thumb with tung oil is apply it until it's not absorbed anymore for your coat. Like that's one coat, and then you're generally supposed to do 3 or 4 coats. So you wait several days, then sand it and apply again, and it gets the stuff all the way down in there. I have made stuff that lasted outside using just tung oil. You know, they sell all this stuff, Thompson's oil stuff, you know, a natural thing like the oil taken out of a seed from a tree can better protect wood than these chemicals, you know, that they put on stuff. Generally, man, we find it's a fallacy to think because it's natural, it's safer, right? But in general, it seems like across the board, natural things are safer. As a general rule.
Normally, it's not now, they get proven unsafe.
Yep. Wow, that looks really good. Yeah. All right, guys, thanks for coming. Today we removed the canvas. Subscribe to the channel. We're gonna do another walk around it next time. We're gonna take off some of those leather bits with a metal brush on a screw gun, and we're gonna get this thing pretty much done on the outside. And thanks for coming. Subscribe to the channel. Drop something in my Cash App. That's all on there. Bye.